Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Dear students, today we are making a quick review for the theory and lab. Okay, and it is divided into two parts. Part 1, addressing mode, arithmetic and logic instruction. Part 2, jump loop and call instruction. Part programming, hardware interfacing and time delay. So it is divided into two parts. First I am going to explain part 1 and actually it is for the theory and lab. So before listening to this video, first you go through all the material posted in your theory section and in the lab section. Here I am quickly reviewing whatever we covered after the midterm in the theory and in the lab. Only the important points are explained. Other things you have to learn from the videos posted earlier. Clear? Okay. Now addressing mode. In addressing mode, we studied 5 type of addressing mode. They are immediate addressing, register addressing, direct addressing, register indirect addressing, and indexed addressing. Out of these, the last three addressing modes are for accessing the memory. These three are for accessing the memory, means direct, register indirect, and indexed. And out of that, the last one, indexed, is for accessing the read-only memory. So there is only one way to access the data from the read-only memory, that is indexed addressing. Now, immediate addressing means you are putting the data along with the instruction, and before the data you have to put the hash sign. When you are transferring the data, the size of the register and the size of the data should be the same. Here DPTR is a 16-bit register, so you are putting 16-bit data. Here this is 8-bit data and this is an 8-bit register. Okay, and if you put here a value more than 16-bit, that means if you are putting a value more than 65,535, it is invalid. Similarly, if you are putting here a value more than FFH, it is invalid. Clear? Okay. Now register addressing, only registers will be involved, and always the data will be moving from the right to left. Move R0, A. Move A. From A it is going to R2. From R5 and A are added and the result will be in A register, like that. Okay. So here also the size should be the same. R7 is an 8-bit register, DPL is an 8-bit register. R6 is an 8-bit register, this is also an 8-bit register. Moving between Rs, R4 to R7, R1 to R2, this type of instructions are not valid. Okay, now accessing the memory. Now here what we are doing, we are taking the data from the memory. Move A, 4 means take the data from the RAM memory location 4 and put it into A. The same thing can be written using the register name, because R4, the address of R4 is 4. The same thing you can write like this one. So when you are using direct addressing, hash sign will not be there. Okay, so this means the data from the memory location 40 will be going to R0. This means the data in A will be saved to memory location 56, always from right to left. Okay, now when you are using stack, you are normally using push and pop. Whenever you are using push and pop, you have to use direct addressing. Push 5 means move R5 into the stack. Okay, you cannot write here push R5. Similarly, push 0 E0H means register A is having an address E0. So push 0 E0 means move the data from A register to the stack. Pop 0 F0 means take the top of the stack into the B register. This means take the top of the stack into R2. Okay, so you go through the previous material, you will get a better idea. Here I am just reviewing the things. Okay, and what is the important point here? You can use only direct addressing for push and pop. Okay, now the fourth one, register indirect addressing mode. In register indirect addressing mode, you are moving a data from a memory location whose address is given in a register. So this means move A, at the rate of R0 means, for example, R0 is having 04. Then the data from the memory location 04 will be moved to A. Clear? So, so it means the data whose address is given in R0 will be moving to A. This means from B, the data will be moved to a memory location. Which memory location? Whose address is given in R1. So this is register indirect addressing. Now let us see one example. Okay, the advantage of register indirect addressing that it is dynamic, means looping is possible in looping is not possible in direct addressing. In register indirect addressing, looping is possible. For example, 16 ROM locations starting from a RAM address 60H you want to clear. So what you are doing, first make accumulator 0. Then R1 you are putting 60H and R7 you are making 16. Now move at the rate of R1. What is 60 to 60 memory location 60? Okay, A will be going. What is A? 0. So memory location 60 will be now 0. Now increment R1. What is R1 now? R1 was previously 60. Now R1 is 61. So move at the rate of R1 means to the memory location 61 A will be going. So this process will be repeated. Okay, each time it completed this one, R7 will be decremented. So R7 will be 16. So this will be moved, A register data will be moved to 16 memory locations starting from 60. Okay, this process will be repeated. This type of things will be possible only with a register indirect addressing. Okay. Now the only way to move data from a ROM location to accumulator is using indexed addressing. So this C means code means ROM. So move C A comma at the rate of A plus DPTR. This is the only way of moving data from the read-only memory to the accumulator. Okay. Now let us see a good example. What we want to do here, we want to take the data from the memory location, from P1 you want to take a data, and the square of P1 you want to put into P2. This program is for that. Okay. Now here these two instructions you can delete, not required. Move A, 0 FFH and move P1, A. This is not required. These two are not required. Now our program is starting from move DPTR as 300. DPTR is 300. Okay, data pointer is 300. Then data pointer is 300. And before writing the program, you are creating a table here, or originate 300. Starting from 300, make a table. In 300, put the square of 0. 301, put the square of 1. 302, put the square of 2. 303, put the square of 3, like that. Okay, so this 81 is available where? In 309. This is 0 is available where? In 300. So this is for creating the square of a table from 0 to 9. So first you are creating the square of the table. Now now P1 you are moving the data to A. Now for example P1 is 3. Now what is A? A is 3. Now move A comma at the rate of A plus DPTR. A is already 3. 3 plus DPTR is 300. So from 303. From 303 the data. So this is 300, 301, 302, 303. From 303 the data will go to A. From A the data will go to P2. Okay. So the square of P1 is available in P2. Again short jump back. You are going here. Now P1 is 4 here. Suppose P1 is 4. Now A is 4. Now what is this one? 304. From 304 the data will be going to A. What is 304? 16. So 16 will be going to A. So it will take a number from 0 to 9 to P1 and the square will be available in P2. Okay. So this is known as lookup table. So you can make a lookup table using this method, move A comma at the rate of A plus DPTR, known as indexed addressing. So if you are getting any mathematical equation, P1 you are reading the value of x, and P2 is x square plus 3x plus 2. First you make the table here. Then whatever the value of x, it will calculate, it will take the value from here and go to P2. Okay, so this process will be repeated because we are putting it in a loop. Okay, now how can you use single bit? Set B bit. Now instead of bit you can write here accumulator 0.0, P1.0, P3.0. Clear means make it 0. Set B means make it 1. CPL means if it is 1, make it 0. If it is 0, make it 1. JB bit target means jump bit P3.0. For example, port 3 bit 0. If it is 1, go to target. Okay, if P3.0 is 1, go to target. Here if you are writing JNB P3.1 target means if P3.1 is 0, it will go to the target. This means it will jump if bit is 1. After jumping, it will clear the bit. Okay, so these are the different type of single bit instruction. Okay, now port P0 to P3. From port P0 to P3, there are 4 port P0 to P3. Each you can access bit by bit. P0.0, P0.1, P1.0, 1.1, P3.0, like that. All the 8 bit you can access. And if you want to make a bit 1 or 0, you can use set B P3.0, or you can write clear P3.0, like that. You can make a bit 1 or you can make a bit 0. Okay, now for example, you want to check the data in the memory location 37 is even or odd. How can you check a number is even or odd? If a number is even, the last bit will be 0. So first you are moving the bit from memory first you are moving the data from memory location 37 to A. Then you are checking the last bit. If the last bit is 0, go to S. Means A will be going to P2. So if the data is even, it is going to P2. If the number is odd, JNB accumulator 0.0 will not work, right? So it will come here. What is the value of A now? The A will be incremented. So for example, if 37 is 09, 09 is not even, right? Not even. So it will not go to S. Instead, it will come here. 09 is incremented. What is 09 plus 1? 10. Right? Decimal 10. It is even. It is coming here. So what this program is doing, if the number is even, it will send to P2. If the number is odd, make it even, then send. How can you make an odd number even? By increasing the value by 1. Okay? So that is the thing here. Now let us see arithmetic and logical instructions and programming. Okay? So no need of further explanation here. We did it many times. Add, move A, 0 F5H, add A, 0 BH. Now A register will be 0, 5 plus 0B. Here one important point you have to remember. Whenever the sum is more than FF, carry flag will be 1. In all other cases, carry flag will be 0. Okay. So F5 plus 0B. When you are adding F5 plus 0B, there is a carry. And accumulator is 0, 0. Okay, so this is carry flag will be set if the result is more than FF. Now subtraction. For subtraction, what you are doing? Subtract A, source. Okay, subtract A, source. So when you are writing sub B, actually there is no sub instruction, only sub B instruction. Sub with borrow means sub A, B. If for example sub B, A, B, if you are writing here, it means A equal to A minus B minus carry. A minus B minus carry. That is the concept. Okay. So whenever the result is negative, carry flag will be 1 and the result will be in 2's complement form. That is the only thing you have to remember here. Then you can solve any question. Okay. Whenever the result is positive, carry flag will be 0. Whenever the result is negative, carry flag will be 1. And where the result will be available? The result will be available in the accumulator. Let us see one example. Here, move A, clear C means carry is 0. Move A, 62, sub with borrow A, 96 means 62 minus 96, carry is 0 here. So 62 minus 96 minus 0, right? So that means 62 minus 96. Which number is bigger here? 96 is bigger. Okay, 62 is smaller. So 62 minus 96, it is a negative number. So whenever the result is negative, carry flag will be 1, and the result of this one will be represented in 2's complement. So what you can do, 96 minus 62, you can find it, and 2's complement of that. Okay, so just remember, whenever you are subtracting a smaller number, whenever you are subtracting a bigger number from a smaller number, the result will be negative. The result will be negative. Okay, so the result will be finally shown in the accumulator in 2's complement form. So 62 minus 96 is negative, so the result will be shown in 2's complement. Okay, and carry flag will be 1. So R7 will be CCH. This also we did in the lab many times. Okay, now look here. Look here, this one. 27 minus 12, negative or positive? 27 minus 12 is positive. So carry flag, after doing this one, carry flag will be, what will be the carry flag? The carry flag will be 0 and accumulator will be 15. So this program, after completing, carry flag will be 0 and accumulator will be 15. This program, after completing, carry flag will be 1 and accumulator will be CCH. Why accumulator is CCH? 96 minus 62, you will get a number. 2's complement of that number is CCH. Okay, so that is subtraction. Multiplication means A is 25, B is 65. Mul AB means B will be having the higher byte and A will be having the lower byte. Okay, for example, 25 and 65, when you multiply, you will get E99. You will get E99. So 99, the lower number will go to A register and E will go to B register. Okay, so remember, always the higher byte. Always the higher byte will go to B register and the lower byte will go to A register. Okay, lower byte means E99. In E99, the lower byte means 99, the number on the right side. 0E is the number on the left side is higher byte. So the lower byte will go to A register and the higher byte will go to B register. Okay, now this one is div AB, not mul AB. Okay, so when you are doing div AB, A register will contain the quotient and B register will contain the remainder. For example, 95 and 10. 95 divided by 10. What is the quotient? 9. What is the remainder? 5. So A register will be 9 and remainder will be in B register. So this is div AB. Now when you are performing div instruction, overflow flag will become 1 if division is not possible. For example, if you put here 0, move A comma hash 95, move B comma hash 0. When you divide, division is not possible. When division is not possible, overflow will be 1. Okay. How to find 2's complement of a number? 2's complement of a number can be found by taking 1's complement, then add 1. That you can do like this one. Or you can write CPLA, increment A. Both of them are same. Okay. Now AND instruction, OR instruction, XOR instruction, etc. are there. I'm not showing everything. I'm just showing how to do AND operation. Okay. So yeah, 35. This is 35. This is 0F, this is 0F. AND operation means 1 and 1, 1. 0 and 1, 0. 1 and 1, 1. Like that you are writing. Similarly, you can write the OR operation. Okay. So move A35, ANL, A0F means A register will be AND of 35 and 0F. So you will get 0, 5. Okay. OR operation also important. You can go through it. It is the same thing. Instead of ANL, you are using here OR operation. This is XOR operation. XOR operation. Right? Now, When you XOR operate a number with itself, XRL AA will become 0, 0. For example, 1 XOR 1, 0. 0 XOR 0, 0. So 45 is written here, 45 is written here. So XRL AA always give you 0. Okay. Now let us see, read and test P1 to see whether it has the value 45. If it does, send 99 to P2, otherwise it stays cleared. Okay. So in P2 read the test, read and test P1. P1 you want to test. Okay. What is the data in P1? Okay. So here first P2 is 0, 0. Okay. This one move P1 comma hash 0 FF not required. Okay. Now move this instruction not required. Okay. This is by mistake. Move R3 comma hash 45. R3 is 45. Now from P1 the data is going to A. Now whatever in P1 it will come to A. Now you are XOR operating A with R3. Okay. So 45. Now suppose A is also 45. If A is 45, 45 XOR operator 45. If both of them are same, what will be a register? 0, 0. So if it is same, what you want to do? You want to send 99 to P2. If they are not same, a register will not be 0. In that case, what you are doing? You are going to exit, means you will not perform this instruction. So this is an indirect method to check a data in the memory location in P1. So not memory location, in P1 is 45 or not. Okay. So first you are taking for the data 45 to R3. Then you are XOR operating the data from P1 with 45. Now if A is 45, this is also 45, right? If P1 is 45, A will be 45, right? If P1 is 45 and R3 is already 45, if both of them are 45, A register will become 0. That we studied here, right? So this technique will check whether a data is the value 45 or not. Okay. Now how can you find the ones complement of a number? By simply taking CPL of the number. Okay. Now this is very important. Compare, jump, not equal. Compare, jump, not equal. In the lab also, this one is there. Compare, jump, not equal. Okay. So for example, CJNE R5 hash 50. It will compare R5 with the 80. If they are not equal, if R5 and 80 are not equal, it will go to not equal. Not equal. You are understanding? If they are equal, it will not go there. It will continue. It will continue here. Right? So if they are not equal and if R5 is greater than 80, carry flag will be 0. If R5 is less than 80, carry flag will be 0. Okay. So here compare, jump, not equal. Here you can use accumulator. Here you can use any register. Okay. So let us see one good example. Good example. What we are doing here, in your textbook, many places this instruction is given, move P1, 0 FF. To make P1 as an input port, actually this is not required. Okay. So just this one you can ignore. Now what is the question here? If P1, what is the question here? I am just wrote one question here. Okay. What you have to do here, from P1, you compare the data from P1 is 75 or less than 75 or greater than 75. If P1 is equal to 75, put 75 to A register. If P1 is less than 75, put the value, whatever value you are reading, put it in R1. If it is P1 is more than 75, put the value to R2. Okay, this one is not required. So you are moving the data to A register. Now suppose A register is 75. So compare, jump, not equal to 75 and 75 are compared. 75 and 75 are compared. They are equal. So it will not go to over, right? It will not go to over. So what you are asking? Exit the program. So if A is 75, then if A is 75, we are doing nothing, the 75 will be in A register. Now suppose the value you are reading is less than 75. Less than 75. For example, it is 74. So 74 and 75 compared. They are not equal, right? They are going here, over. Now jump no carry. When the data in accumulator is more, carry flag will be 0. When it is less, carry flag will be 0. So they are here, they are not, it is greater, then it will go here. So next, it will go to the next. So the value A will be going to R2. You are understanding? Once again, suppose T is 74. So this is 74 and 75 compared. They are not equal, right? So over. Okay. Now 74 is less than 75. If the accumulator is less than the data, carry flag will be 1. So jump on no carry will not work. So what it will do? A will go to R1. So T will go to R1. Okay. If the data here is 76, for example, P1 is 76, 76 is greater. So they are not equal, it will go over here, then jump on no carry. So carry flag will be 0, so it will go to next year and A will be going to R2. So very important program. So you study it very well. Okay, so it is used for checking a number is equal, less or greater. Okay, so what you have to remember, if the number is less than the destination, if the number is less than, if the accumulator is less than the data, carry flag will be 1. In all other cases, carry flag will be 0. Once again, if accumulator is less than the data, carry flag will be 1. In all other cases, carry flag will be 0. And CJ and NE will work when the data is not equal. If the data is equal, where it will go? It will go behind here. Okay. So if it is not equal, it will go here. Then after going here, we are checking the data is greater or less. If the data in A register is less, carry flag will be 1. Okay. Now rotate right accumulator, the data will be moving, the bit will be moving to the right. So RRA means carry flag is not involved. Carry flag is not involved. Similarly, RLA, the bit will be moving one by one to the left, okay, and carry flag is not involved. This one, carry flag is involved, RRCA. All the bit will be moving to the right 1 bit position. This one to the left by 1 bit position through the carry. You can just go through the example. Okay. Now these are the single bit instruction using carry. Set bit, clear carry, CPL carry, move B. For example, you can write here move P 3.0 comma carry. Move carry P 3.0 like that. Jump no carry, jump carry. Jump carry is very important. For example, if you want to check the data after adding is more than FF or less than FF, you can use jump carry and jump no carry. This is for AND operation for a single bit. Okay, single bit. This one AND operating with the inverted bit. Okay, similarly OR and inverted OR bit.